Hi. So I think it's really funny that the TSIM theme is legal because just last week I got my fake ID taken at a bar in Charlotte. It was called Prohibition. So fitting because I'm now living in the Prohibition again. So I'm here to tell you a story. So I moved to Seattle looking for a few things: direction, opportunity, inspiration, legal weed. Love, however, was not one of the things that I came looking for, and yet it is, of course, the thing that I found. That's the really funny thing about love, you know? It happens when you least expect it, but when you seem to need it the most. So I am completely and utterly infatuated with a really amazing woman, and I would love to tell you about her. Her name is Detective Cookie. Shit you not. So I met her at the school that I work at in Seattle. She's a police officer. No one, really knows how old she is. She could be somewhere between 35 and 97, 4052, which is probably as old as time, if we're being really honest. She has really beautifully lacquered long red nails. Her makeup always looks amazing. And she wears this bomb-ass uniform and looks really fucking good in it every Tuesday when I see her. So Detective Cookie comes to my 5th grade classroom every Tuesday morning to teach the kids about gang violence, which is, really cool. And also just to kind of share any tidbits of wisdom that she feels like my students need to know at that time. So, excuse me. Detective Cookie runs a really tight ship. My kids, when they know that she's coming the next day, they're preparing and cleaning the room. They're like, Detective Cookie is coming, we have to clean up. And so they pick up pieces of lint out of the carpet and loose paper clips off of the floor. They're really nervous that she's gonna yell at them. And so when she comes to the classroom, she stands in the doorway and waits until every piece of trash is gone before she enters the room. And so then once she thinks that it's up to her standards, she walks in. She always comes in with this big ass brown paper bag, and I never really know what's inside of it. I'm always very curious, obviously. And she puts it on the table, and then she sits in her chair in the front of the classroom, where she leads her daily discussions.
It's 5:30.
It's 5:30. And so what I really love about Detective Cookie is that she doesn't ever have an intro into what she's going to talk about. She kind of just dives right in, and she literally never has a lesson plan. She just kind of goes wherever the crazy shit in her mind tells her to go, which is kind of fun, keeps things interesting. And no topic for her is off limit. She will talk about anything. So the first day that she came into my classroom, she sat down in her chair, and then she just closed her eyes and sat there. I thought she was sleeping, maybe meditating, maybe traveling back to a different dimension. And she sat there for 3 minutes and just didn't speak or move or open her eyes, and all the kids were sitting there looking around what the fuck is going on? And I look at my partner teacher and I was like, does she always do this? And then she just opens her eyes and immediately goes, kids, you can do any job you want to do in the whole entire world. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty hyperbolic intro, but I love your energy. She was like, whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve. She was like, when I was young, I decided that I wanted to be a professional dancer. And you know what I did, kids? I became a professional dancer on Soul Train. What? This bitch was a fucking dancer on Soul Train? I freaked out. I literally screamed when she said that, and all my kids looked at me and they were like, are you doing okay? Because they have no idea what the fuck Soul Train is. And then she just keeps going, doesn't address it, and she's just like, then, after I decided that I was done dancing, I realized, I want to be a professional model. So you know what I did? I became a professional model. I was flown all around the world doing photo shoots. I was on the cover of Glamour, Ebony, Vogue. I spent a time in Tokyo, and I was a Japanese icon. And I'm sitting here fucking speechless. This woman has done the coolest shit in the entire world, and my kids are sitting here trying to itch their taints in the most discreet way possible. They do not care. And I'm sitting in the back of the classroom, falling in love with my future wife. And then she says, after I achieved all my dreams, I decided that what I wanted to do most in the world was become a police officer. And that's exactly what I did. So kids, as you can see, you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I mean it. Go out there and achieve your dreams, just like I did. And I was like, homie, you can't tell these kids that because that's unrealistic expectations. Because you just said to yourself, I'm gonna be a dancer, then you were on Soul Train, I'm gonna be a model, and then you were on Vogue, but like, that's not how things work anymore. And then after she gave this whole story about like they can achieve whatever they want, she just gives all of them a fat stack of coupons for free food at 7-Eleven, and they just move right along with their lesson. So now she's talking about the internet and the dangers of the internet, which I always love when people that are like older than 30 when they talk about the internet, because there's just this like very distinct disconnect. But this woman, the story that she spun out for them was the scariest shit I'd ever heard, and I'm an adult, and my 10-year-old students I really think are going to be spending thousands of dollars for psychiatric treatment after this one. So she starts the story. It's about this kid named Billy. So, Billy is a 5th grader, just like you all, tells my kids. Billy likes to play basketball after school and play video games with his older brother, and Billy likes to go to the park that's down the street. And, just like you, Billy loves to chat with his friends online. And one day, Billy was online. He was chatting with people in chat rooms. I haven't been in chat roulette since I was 7. And he begins talking to a kid online named Hector. And believe it or not, Hector loves basketball too. It's crazy. And Hector is 10 years old, just like Billy is. And Hector wants to meet up with Billy in person and play at the park near his house. That's amazing. Billy is so excited to meet his new friend, so they make a plan to meet up after school on Thursday. And Thursday comes, and Billy is so excited. He walks to the park after school waiting for Hector, like they talked about. But, wait, Billy is so confused. Hector isn't a 10-year-old boy who loves Xbox and basketball. He's a 57-year-old man that wants to do bad things to Billy. And Billy didn't tell any adults where he was, and Hector, if that's even his real name, grabs Billy, ties him up, throws him in his trunk, and drives away and murders him in the woods, throwing his mangled body into the stream. And if poor little Billy had chosen not to talk to strangers online and checked with his mom before meeting up with Hector, maybe, just maybe, he would still be playing basketball at recess with his friends instead of dead at the bottom of a creek. At this point, she just, like, stops talking and surveys the room to see the damage that she had done. And I look around, and a few of my kids are crying, obviously. A few of my kids are on the verge of tears. A few of them look like they're about to vomit on themselves. Which, like, of course, that's the most fucked up story you can tell a bunch of 10-year-olds at 9:38 on a fucking Tuesday morning. And, like, this was just the first story she told them. This woman tells our kids shit like this every single fucking Tuesday that she comes. She has an unlimited supply of crazy shit to say to them. And she, like, does not care how traumatic those stories are gonna be to them. And so then she doesn't even address this twisted Criminal Minds episode that she just laid out for them. And she walks over to her big-ass paper bag and she pulls out a Pepsi. And because she has these fucking long-ass nails, it takes her, like, 11 minutes to open up the can. And then once she opens it, she chugs, like, 3/4 of it in under 2 seconds. Like, she just inhaled it. It was crazy. And then she stood there and kind of just, like, looked at her can of Pepsi just so longingly with, like, deep love. And then she turns to the class and she goes, you know, kids, Pepsi might even be worse for you than online chat rooms, am I right? Oh my god. Having a really hard time right now. I've cut down on how much Pepsi I drink to 1 a day now. And I was like, hey, you know, that's great. She's taking her health seriously. Cool. She was like, I used to drink 18 of these a day. And I was like, what the fuck? This woman drank 18 Pepsis a day. And then she was like, it was 18 Pepsis a day for a while, and then I got tired of Pepsi. Obviously, you're drinking 4,000 of them a week. She's like, so then I switched to Diet Coke. And I was still drinking 18 of those a day, and then I realized, you know, wow, I gotta cut back. And I was like, oh, you think? Perhaps impulse control might be something you should work on, okay? She was like, and now I'm down to 1 a day. And I have to say, these are dark times. It's really tough, but you know, like, these will kill you faster than Hector will. And my kids are still paralyzed with fear. and just like nausea. And she's making all these fucking jokes and telling them that she used to drink 18 Pepsis a day, and they're just paralyzed with fear and concern, and they just keep staring at her unblinking. And then the other fun thing about Detective Cookie is she teaches them about gang violence and internet harms, and then she teaches them a chess lesson. Because her goal is to spread awareness and a knowledge of chess to all the kids in Seattle public schools, which is a crazy mission, but I love it. So she just moves right from this really horrifying story and then teaches them about chess. And then she throws some more free 7-Eleven coupons at them, and then she fucking leaves. She doesn't even say goodbye, not like, it was great to see you all, or I'll see you next Tuesday, or like, I'm sorry that I just fucked you all up for the rest of your young adult lives. She just left. And this fucking psychopath of a woman is a person that I have imprinted on for obvious reasons. And I am really excited to share eternity with her because she's obviously a witch and will live forever.